Hello everybody and welcome back to some more Planet Coaster. My name is Ghost Jason. I hope all is well on your end. For today's episode, we're going to be focusing on the classic wooden roller coaster right on over here. This is the general location of the station where it's going to be. And what I've thought about putting this roller coaster is that it's going to take a 180-degree turn to the right, go up a lift hill, go around some hills, take a right-hand turn, probably end up turning right around where the sky station is, and then heading on back on over here. So just a simple out and back wooden roller coaster, kind of something you would see in the 1950s or 60s. So either two things are going to happen. One, I'm going to cut back to some progress being done, or I'm just going to show you guys a time lapse of what this coaster has become. So hope you will enjoy this little video. And if you guys want your name featured on these videos by submitting your ideas, submitting names for these attractions, feel free to leave me your suggestions down in the comments down below. And also don't forget to subscribe. If you are a regular and you're not subscribed, why not? You're already coming back to the channel anyway. Alright, let's get into the business, shall we, of building this wooden roller coaster. Alright, I'm just going to use another form of audio recording to record some lines I'm going to use for the timeline, as well as explaining what I'm doing on this roller coaster. So hopefully this will all be as smooth as can be, easy as pie sort of stuff, you know. As we are working on the 180-degree turn, heading over to the lift hill right now as you come out of the station. Then I head on over to the track again. I fiddle around with the height a little bit, but I'm not so sure it's going to work out. I kind of wanted to add like a little bit of a bank to it, but I don't know if it's as realistic as it possibly can. Also, if anyone is wondering about the realism that I'm going to have with the park, it's not really going to be that realistic, if I'm being honest with you. Some things I will hold tried and true, but as I've been watching these Planet Coaster people on YouTube make their creations, they're like super realistic, down to like the turnstiles, the gift shops, as well as like little vendors on like little carts throughout the roads and the streets of the parks. I don't feel confident doing that myself. I'd rather just build these amazing rides as well as the landscapes, not really have to focus too much on the restaurants, even though there are a few restaurants in the park. I use the restaurant mechanic on Planco, so that's pretty much the extent of that of what I'm doing here for the amusement park. Anyway, you saw me make that first hill. I really did enjoy that first part of the roller coaster, that first little hill, or not little, that big hill rather, as you come out of the chain lift. Really do like it, but the turn on this little area, it kind of gave me some nightmares, especially when it came to the turn that is going to be adjacent to that turn over there, because I had to make sure that no supports were being removed because of the inner turn that I'm going to have, where the car is going to turn left and it's going to be on the inside of it, because right after this drop, it's going to go uphill and make a 180-degree turn so the train can head back to the station. I originally had the idea of putting this roller coaster as close to the Skyway as I possibly can, but I wanted to add the turn on the other side of the park, on the other side of the Skyway station. It just it was not in the cards for me, and I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to add like where I'm going to add that dark ride or a restaurant right over there. But anyway, I'm just examining the car right now as it goes down the track. The speed is doing really good so far, so I just keep going. And I forgot what I did here. It's been a few days since I recorded this. So, okay, here we go. We are heading up. We are heading up, up. And there you go. Now we're up. And I decided to make a little bit of a bank turn right over there. Realized that I wanted to add a little bit of room, but the the car did not go up the hill, so we made it lower. And then here we go with the turn. Decided to make it a little bit, add 2 4-meter spaces. And here comes the turn. Here we go. Yeah, so you get the idea of this roller coaster as an out and back. Goes along one way and then returns in another way. More of a 90-degree turn this roller coaster is gonna do. Would you say that's like a 120-degree turn maybe? I don't know, but you are going downhill at a curve. I don't know if that's really common in those kinds of roller coasters, but you do what you gotta do, right? So the idea was this was the first original roller coaster of the park, and it opened with the park, so it would have been opened around the 50s and the 60s. And as I'm saying this, we are adding the brake run right now. I decided to add the brake run because I wanted the coaster to split off so that the coaster can head on over to the brake station. And I will say this, I'm not going to add those transfer tracks or maintenance bays that most realistic park creators do, because it's not really what I want to do right now. So maybe in the future I will consider like some more realistic. I mean, transfer tracks, they can be easily done in just a matter of minutes, but I just decided not to do it, mainly because it is an older ride. They probably didn't have those transfer tracks anyway. Anyway, we are heading off to the left-hand turn and decided to delete some sections. I wanted to make sure the supports did not touch each other to the point where the higher supporting structure was not getting removed. And here we go with the turn. And after this turn, there was a series of little hills that I have added. So yeah, what I'm gonna do now, guys, is I'm going to mute my recording for now, and then I will return after you get a first POV of this roller coaster. And if you guys have any name suggestions for the roller coaster, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I always look at the comments, and so if you guys want to be featured here on this series, you know what you gotta do. You gotta leave your names and leave your suggestions in the comments. Help out Sunville as much as you can. All right, enjoy the rest of it, and I am going mute. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed the raw footage of a raw wooden roller coaster, as I am now adding the queue line right over here. Adding a small switchback to where that is at right over there. And as we head on down the queue line, this is where we are going to be dipping down into the ground. And in this little piece of footage, I tried to finish with the pathway by making it as flush as possible to the ground, so that way the ramp is nice and even when it comes to the angles, because the angles on this, it's kind of rough, I'm not gonna lie. But it's only for the entrance of the ride. With the exit, it was as smooth as can be, and there was another switchback right over there. And now we put the queue into the main walkway. Finish that up, and now we are making our way to the exit. And the exit was pretty pretty easy. This is all raw footage, by the way, or raw audio footage. And we extend the exit to the main path. Working on the main building right now. For the main building, I decided just to put some support structures on top of the coaster station and then add some wood paneling to the bottom so we can hide the supports. Here comes the wood walls. Making sure you use the 2 meters to use those custom coaster cut walls. Oh yeah, look at that. Very beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Adding the post, so the posts can support the roof of the station building. And when it comes to the rails, we are adding some classic wooden stuff. I tried to fiddle around with this one, but it just didn't really work out because of the way the supports are. Yeah, with those posts, they kind of work on the grid system, so maybe if I added more posts to the building, I probably would have gotten away with it, but I decided to add these wooden posts because they look better than what looked like classical style of rails. Added the railing to the operator's back so he would not fall 20 feet. Move on to the other side. There you go, there you go. I did add another rail over there, but I decided to keep on going. Yeah, there you go. Try to make sure you have angle snap on so you make sure the angles are all right. Yep, there you go. Just some minor adjustments. Oh yeah, I forgot to add the post there as well, so we can add a support rail. There you go. Got the bottom part of that done. Decided to add a door archway so that there's a arch right over there, as well as the end of the coaster track. I think it looks good. Decided to reach over for the walls again because we are going to be adding the roof. Decided to add some extra height to the roof. I went for the 1 meter angled support, but then I ultimately decided to scrap it and went for the 2 meter triangle roof walls, or whatever you want to call it, because it looks more even that way. Got the simple roof tiles. It's all simple. It's all simple. All simple. Wanted to add that piece, but it just didn't really look that flush, so I decided to grab the same roof piece and then just finick around with the grid size, and then it looks more flush. Ah yeah, look at that. I really do like this building. It's as simple as can be, especially in like the 50s or the 60s. you don't need like the flashy buildings for a classic wooden roller coaster. Maybe if it was revamped, maybe, but it doesn't really need that. But I did add some covering to the end part of the queue where the station is, just so the guest doesn't have to stand in the sun. And I ultimately got rid of the piece that is furthest from the left because it was cutting from the staircase. And I didn't really like the look of that, so you'll see it a little bit later on, but I'm adding the railings right now. And the railings, the railings. There comes the roof for the shade. There you go. Here comes the support structures. I really wanted these, but they didn't really match what I really wanted. And you'll see that in just a second. As I'm adding the support beam, it's kind of sticking out. So I ultimately decided to get rid of that. Instead, I'm using the supports from that little building right over there, but I decided to line the rails real quick. And there you go, adding the supports. Very nice. I'm also gonna get rid of the support that is currently in the queue line. And there you go. Adding some covering now to the transfer track. This was really easy to do. I decided to do it outside of the queue real quick, just so I can get the grid size correct. And it looks really flush to me. Decided to add some extra wood for the flooring real quick. And then after doing some toggling, put it as middle as I possibly could. Messed up a little bit, but we are fixing it right now. Or at least trying my best. Didn't get the grid size in just right until now. There you go. Here come the supports. Ultimately, it's decided to do these supports. Well, 4 of them. Wanted to do the angled roof, but that was not possible. So we just decided to do some flat roof. And I think it looks good. Found the right piece that I wanted as well. And there's your queue cover. Also some supports to put on the ground as well. Also, we're doing the exact same thing over on the extended queue, just making it a little bit longer as well. Here it comes. The power of the duplicate tool is really amazing. Make sure everything's lined up. It's not lined up right now, but it will be when we add the extended part. As far as theming goes, it's mainly going to be trees and lights that are going to be shining in on the coaster. I just want to say that because I may end up muting in a matter of minutes. Deciding how long do I want these supports to go. And after doing that, I decided to move it as much as I possibly can, make sure that everything is perfectly aligned. And I'm also going to get the roof in just a second. Okay, now here comes the flooring. Now the difficult part was trying to put the floor as flush into the queue, because I didn't want the flooring to be on the queue. So when I look over, I look at that middle part of the queue where there's nothing on it, and then I know that it's perfectly aligned. And that's the final product of that covering. And it looks really good. Everything's perfectly aligned. Adding some trees. Adding our beautiful, beautiful foliage. And you'll see in just a matter of minutes me putting trees throughout the coaster as well. Because on the backside of the coaster, I am going to be having a wall to fence off the amusement park, but right now I'm adding a sign that I made earlier that says Sunville to the top of the wooden roller coaster, just so that passersby in their cars, they will see this alongside the road. They'll know that this is Sunville Amusement Park. It's all about making sure everything is even, especially when it comes to these supports, these wooden supports. And when I finally found the right spot for it, I'm going to duplicate it and turn it 180 degrees and move it to the other side. Making sure it's perfectly aligned. Turn on the angle snap tool and push the Sunville sign to the other side. I could have just wrote like the name of the roller coaster on it, but at that time I didn't have a name for it. I'm probably going to end up coming up with the names for the rides myself. Again, like I said, if you guys want your names on these rides, feel free to comment down below the day we make the ride. Here we go with the lights right now. Everything's nighttime. We're adding the lights, making the coaster extra pretty at night. Decided to go for the white lights because I'm not going to repaint the coaster. So, and where I add the lights, I'm also going to be adding trees. Just some like skinnier trees because we are going to be adding that fence alongside it so we can border up the park. It's going to be a smaller park, like I said earlier, but hopefully an entertaining park nonetheless. Just got about a few more minutes left into the video, and I hope you are enjoying the Planet Coaster series that I have running for the YouTube channel. If the Planet Coaster series does go along, I'm probably going to be doing a theme park rather than an amusement park, so hopefully you guys do enjoy that. I don't know if I want to make something like a Studios park or something along the lines of what Epic Universe at Universal Orlando is going to be building in 2025. I'm thinking about just making like a hub area, and in that hub area there are a series of gates where there are different themed areas. So if you guys want to see that, feel free to let me know, whether a Studios park or a Epic Universe style of park. Anyway, adding some trees on over to the coaster. The trees really do make the park more alive in this scenario. At the big tree and then the smaller tree. Perfect alignment. Alright guys, other than that, there's pretty much just adding trees and lights. I did add lights to the coaster station itself. I added those fairy lights or Christmas lights, made them white so they pop at the night time. And also when I was off camera, I added some more practical lights, like station lights as well. So we are adding that later on. But we're adding the marquee of the attraction. I decided to do something a little more simpler, so we have this arch style of wall. Decided to find a sign. I was under the woods section, so I couldn't really find it, so decided to go for a nice little western sign. Just make something simple. Make something simple into something more extraordinary, more amazing. And over here, we found the winner for the sign. And then I decided to remove the sign and double up, make the marquee a little bit bigger, added the sign, and that is our marquee. And I also added some lights into the sign. On the side of the sign, I added those Christmas lights that you will see in about a minute or two. Alright guys, I'm gonna go mute, and by the time you hear me again, the coaster will be complete, and then I'll do my outro. Alright, I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, after about an hour or so of work, this is our final product. Welcome to the classic wooden roller coaster of Sunville Amusement Park. I think this turned out really good. It's not supposed to be like very big and flashy. The real flashiness comes when you're on board the ride itself. And to end it off, we're going to do a little bit of a POV of all the trees and into the station and all that stuff. If you guys want to name this ride, I'm going to name it like a few episodes after this. So feel free to get your name suggestions on over in the comment section below. If you like what you see, feel free to hit that like button. And if you want to come back on the regular, hit that good old subscribe button. I'm going to leave you now with a POV of the attraction and its finished product. I'll see you guys next time. See you soon. Bye!